Published 13/26 EDT, the 6th of October 2017. Updated 18/26 EDT, the 6th of October 2017. German Chancellor Angela Merkel's contentious open-doors immigration policy has assembled the most hostile opposition Chris Eubank Jr. will have to overcome as he defends his IBO World Super Middleweight belt in Stuttgart this Saturday night. As if Turkish tearaway Avni Yildirim is not enough of a handful in the ring, he will be roared on against Eubank by a frenzied throng of his fanatical countrymen. This city has become home to no fewer than 20,000 Turks, and those with tickets are expected to form a raucous and overwhelming majority in the 15,500 capacity Hans Martin Schlier Halle. Chris Eubank Jr. went face-to-face with Avni Yildirim at the weigh-in ahead of their fight. The British star wore gloves marked with a skull as he attempted to intimidate his opponent. He will be whipped into a fervor by Yildirim's firebrand manager-trainer Ahmet Oner, whose foul-mouthed insults and threats to Eubank and his legendary father at this week's build-up events ended with security holding him back from assaulting one team member whose wife he vowed to ravish. Chris Jr. has kept his cool, expressing a fondness for Turkish food and voicing respect for his undefeated challenger despite predicting a knockout victory for himself. It might be advisable for him to deliver on that promise. This will be an intimidating atmosphere in which to leave it to the judges to bring down a decision against Yildirim. Eubank brought this ancillary problem upon himself. This fight also serves as a quarterfinal in the new World Series tournament, and at the draw he exercised his right as one of the seeds to select his first opponent by picking Yildirim. At that stage the venue had not been identified. Had he known it would be Stuttgart, he might have chosen differently. Both boxers roared to the assembled crowd, with many Turkish fans present to see Yildirim. Eubank Jr. issued a warning to his foe and told him he plans to beat him on his own terms. The crowd factor has played into an assessment by George Groves, holder of a world title of higher status than Eubank's, that Yildirim might spring an upset. St. George is expected to come through his quarterfinal next weekend against fellow Englishman Jamie Cox and then meet Eubank in a big domestic semifinal in January. He says tournaments like this usually produce at least one shock, and Chris could be on the wrong end in this one. Yildirim is a heavy puncher. The Turk acquired a secondary nickname, the Dentist, when he knocked out one of James DeGale's teeth in sparring earlier this year, and he has stopped 10 of his 16 victims thus far. But at his original pseudonym, Mr. Roboto, which will reassure Eubank. Yildirim, 26, is a younger but equally ponderous version of Arthur Abraham, another German adoptive, who Eubank massively outpointed last time out. Yildirim's camp told Eubank Jr. the only way he can win is to fight like Floyd Mayweather unless Yildirim lands a knockout blow early. This should be Eubank's night, however unpleasant. As a more natural middleweight, son of Chris may not have the power to inflict a stoppage on this bull of an opponent, but his high punch rate ought to put a points verdict in his favor beyond the realm of another of boxing's judging controversies. That would establish two English boxers in the last four of the World Series, Callum Smith having survived his tough quarterfinal against Eric Skoglund in Liverpool last month, with Grove still to come. Eubank v Yildirim will be televised live this Saturday night on RTV Box Office at £9.95.